Marie, could I just ask a question before you begin? Where'd she get all the buttons?
I don't know, maybe Mary knows.
Well,
Like my
Or
mom.
maybe Norma knows.
I have a horrible confession to make right off the start. But I didn't even know she did that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was a neighbor.
Yeah.
But back in those days, when you're a young guy, the dresses, well, I shouldn't say dresses, but buttons were about the last thing you were
I do know that she was a noted seamstress. That's something
Yeah.
I
Oh,
forgot
yeah.
to put in there.
Yeah.
So that's probably how she got some buttons.
No, I'm proud to say that I knew Flora very well. Sat at her kitchen table many times. I talked to her youngest and only living child, Alvin, last night actually.
Oh, really? Where is he?
He's in Cranbrook.
Okay.
And his wife passed away. He was married to Joyce. Oh my goodness, Neufeld, who passed away here 2 or 3 years ago. Alvin and I went to school together. There was only about 3 or 4 of us left. Rudy Gross, one of them. We went to. Well, Alvin and I went to Highwood School. Highwood.
Oh, yeah.
Which is still standing,
Oh, it is.
and I went to school with 3 of her children: Alvin, the youngest, Glenna, Raymond, and Harvey, and the other ones were older. But I spent a lot of good times with the short children. They were down in the coulee, we called it. If any of you know where Highwood School is, not likely.
Mm-hmm.
You know where the grain terminal is on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you go to the first road south of the grain terminal and go about 6 miles straight west, you'll go down into the ravine, and the old house and some of the buildings are still there. And they went to Highwood School. I went to Highwood School. We were north of town, about 1.5 miles north of town. And then we went to Renown, and I was one of the kids that my dad, that was back in the days before school buses, and it was your responsibility to get your kid to school. And my dad must have made a deal with Mac because they were at the far end of the route, and he had a couple of his own still, Glenna and Alvin. And the Lairds, Mac and Benny, were there for a while too, and myself and my brother and Mac would pick us up, and we'd go to school. And we didn't have snow days in those days. I can remember sometimes coming home, and this is not a fairy tale, my grandchildren think it is, but when it was snowing and blowing so bad that you couldn't see, but the horses knew where they were going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Yeah.
And sometimes, we were only 3.5 miles from town, and Mac was at the far end. He's there 7 miles from town. And of course, we had a pool room in Renown, and Mac, of course, would stay in town all day, and he loved to play cards. There were some of the old boys that played cards all day in the pool, and played pool and played cards. And so sometimes when school was out, if Mac was in the middle of an exciting card game, usually it was dark before we got home, but that was okay. And we didn't mind because it gave us a chance to have another game of pool. No, they were a good, hard-working family, good community people. As you say, Mac was on the school board for a while. He was counselor for the RM of Wood Creek for a number of years, and they worked hard and they raised a good family, and they in town. Then they moved to town, and no, they moved to Manitou Beach first in the early '60s, I believe.
Do you remember where they lived there?
Yes, that building's still there. It's the
Yeah.
one right across from the Oasis dock there,
Oh, yeah.
right at the Y. You know, and the first place on the right. That's where they lived for several years.
The human house?
No, not humans. Down below, it's
Oh,
it's
down
right
below.
along, and it's the first house when you
Right. Okay.
pass the Y.
And that's
Right on the, it's a kind of, yeah, and it's still there. In fact, somebody just bought it and has been
Yeah, it
doing
has
some
red siding
renovations
now,
on it.
yeah.
They lived there for, I think, maybe 10 years, and then they moved into town in the house that, what's his name? Anyway, down behind the Fort Lakes there. And, yeah, and no, I have a lot of happy memories. We used to go down in the coulee with Alvin and pick Saskatoons
I was
down
gonna
there.
say that's-
I remember down there picking Saskatoons, and then and some of us young guys, Howard McConnell and Alvin, and we'd go shooting gophers. And anyway, it's quite. But I must admit, I never have. Today will probably be the first time I ever saw one of the dresses.
So when you went to Highwood, did you go to Renown after a while?
Yes,
School in Renown?
yes. I started school in Highwood in 1940, and went to 1945. Then Highwood was still open, but it was. I guess my parents and Sathers could see the handwriting on the wall, so we went to Renown, and which caused a little rift in the community because there were some of the people who didn't want Highwood to die. And then the Bryants moved in with about 7 or 8 kids, so that gave it another lease on life, but it didn't last too much longer. So. Yeah, I went to start Renown in 19.
So it was a one-room school?
Highwood was a one-room school.
Can you describe the school?
Well, it was just one big room, not much bigger than this.
I was going to say that's about the size.
And you had the desks were in a row, and different rows. 1 to 8. There was nothing beyond grade 8. Although people that were taking correspondence. Provincial correspondence classes could come sit in school, and the teacher would help them. But the mandate was grades 1 to 8.
And how do you say it? Highwood? H-I-G?
Highwood, one word.
H-I-G-H?
H-I-G-H.
I have another question for you. I'm imagining these guys, very productive, fine citizens, playing cards in the pool hall. And so, what were the names? The card game names?
Oh, Rummy, I think.
Rummy?
Yeah, Rummy. Yeah.
And what's the other one? Any others?
Oh, they probably played some poker too, but
Poker.
I have no idea. I was just a young sprout in those days.
And what were the pool games called?
Oh gosh, we had snooker and
Snooker?
and what was there?
Boston?
Boston. Nothing. There was 2 tables I recall: a snooker table, a big table, and a smaller table, a Boston table, and that's what. And we'd come. Of course, us country kids, Rudy Gross included, and Bert Service, and who else is left around here? Nobody. We'd wolf down our lunch and get down to the pool hall, and the bell would be ringing at 1 o'clock for class to resume, and we'd be running from the pool hall to the school. And the principal was Jack Stenhouse. He was a little bit tolerant of what young guys like to do, and in fact, he was quite a smoker. And that was back in the days when, of course, there was no such thing as any ban against smoking. And at recess time, he would join the big boys down in the furnace room for a cigarette.
What was the name of the brand of cigarettes?
I didn't smoke. I was the oddity. I never smoked. My dad smoked Buckingham's. I know that.
Buckingham, yeah.
Or Players was another one. Export. Yeah, Export. I knew all the brands.
Old anyway.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. If you had tailor-mades, you were in the bucks. If you had tailor-mades,
In the Bucks.
yeah.
Listen to that.
But no. And then we went to Renown School. That was a 2-room school. We had grades 1 to 6, and then 8 or 7. No, 1 to 7, I think. Dave, you were there. You should remember.
1 to 8.
8 was in high school. High school was 8. No, hey, I beg to differ. I was there. And I helped you with your reading. You and Wayne Martin and Del Gill.
Yeah, no.
We were grades. I came to Renown in grade 6. I was in grade 6 and 7 in the elementary room, and I helped you guys with your
You
reading.
know, I was going to tell the friends gathered here that when you moved to Renown, you truly got a real education, but I'm not so sure anymore.
But then we, anyway, they did have. I graduated from Renown in 1951. There was 2 of us in the graduating class, Mabel Odney and I. We had a couple of others. I'm sorry, I'm getting off subject.
No, you're not, actually.
Well,
Just needed louder.
there was Bernadine Davis, O.D. Davis. Remember O.D. in the post office in Red and White Store?
Yep.
Yeah, we went to school up to grade 11, and then she got interested in boys, so they shipped her off to the convent in Saskatoon. And Edward Hedlund, who was the youngest of the Hedlund clan, he just died here just the last couple of weeks. Ed Hedlund, yeah, he was the same age as I, and he ended up going to Outlook, LCBI, and Outlook so the graduating class of '51 was Mabel Odney and I, and nobody ever knew it happened. That was back in the days when you wrote departmental exams, and you didn't get your marks till August. And I was out riding the tractor where I spent most of my life when I was young. And my dad come, looks like your marks are here. And I opened it up and I made it. He said, well, I guess you better take the rest of the day off. And my dad was not a slave driver by any means. But to get back to the shorts, anyway. So they've all passed away now. Harvey was married to Vera,
my sister.
Dave's sister, and she lived to be 100, didn't she?
She lived to be 100. I was at her 100th birthday.
Wow. Yeah.
So, Dave, do you have any stories that Murray has generated out from?
Well, when you live near a big city like Renown, those people out in the sticks, their news doesn't travel very fast.
Party lines, don't forget.
I have stories about Flora Short. I remember this happened more than once when our family would end up down at their place unexpectedly. Flora Short would just disappear. You would see her walking out the west side of the yard and up the hill, and she had a 22 in her hand. And it wouldn't be much longer after that you would have fresh venison. Does everyone know what a page wire fence is? The square wires? You're there surprised, you surprised her because it's so close to dinner time. She would, that head and neck would be off that rooster in like that fast. And up through that page wire, and the feathers would be flying, and you'd have a fresh frying chicken on the stove in no time. I remember things like that about her.
Hey, what's that wire called again?
Page wire.
Page?
Page.
How do you spell that?
P-A-G-E.
Page wire, that's a square
Where
size.
did you go to school?
I went to school away. Page wire, P-A-G-E, and how big were the squares?
They varied.
Oh,
They
yeah.
varied in size. Some of them had various sizes in one.
Depends what kind of animal you were trying to keep in.
Yeah,
Okay, page wire. Why is it called page?
I don't have
It looks
no
like a
idea.
page.
I
Because
never
the
Oh,
heard.
squares look like
I had no idea.
Could be because they're square.
Page wire.
We had it around our schoolyards to keep the kids in.
Get the kids in. They were little ones. Thanks.
Flora also collected salt and pepper shakers.
Oh,
So that, like that cabinet you saw,
yeah.
I don't know if that's the one I saw them in, but it was just solid
Yeah.
salt and pepper shakers. So whoever, she got to inherit that, I mean, who she passed that on to. I have no idea. She got all 50,000.
Should have collected.
Oh, yes. Flora Short picked Saskatoons and sold them. And she could pick a milk pail full of Saskatoons and no one had to clean the Saskatoons when she was done. They were ready to go in the canning jar.
So there's a story that I came across in some of the information was that they used to go to Lotris and get, supplies for the winter so that they didn't have to, grocery supplies, so they didn't have to travel too much.
Yeah.
And one of their neighbors came over during a snowstorm and that family hadn't eaten for 2 or 3 days. So he was looking for, if they could share something. And so she took him in, fed him supper, and then piled his wagon up with supplies and sent him off. Yeah. So they seemed like they were very generous people too.
Did they have livestock or land, or what did they have?
They had land, they had livestock, they had a real nice hip roof barn for cattle, and they had chickens, they had hogs. Yeah.
Yeah, that barn got moved in from someplace. They didn't have much of a barn before, and I remember Mac bought it from somebody, moved it in. I can't remember who it was now. It's still there.
Yeah.
What did you call that barn? A what barn?
Hip roof.
Hip roof.
Hip roof.
Okay, do you know what a gambrel roof is?
No idea.
Same thing.
What kind of dam?
Gambrel.
Gambrel.
Gambrel. Gambrel.
Wow. I don't know anything. Gosh.
You're in school today?
Just the same as all the barns, most of the barns around are hip roof barns.
Our hip bar, our
Yeah, most of the,
hip barns.
Hip roof.
Hip roof. Hip roof. Okay.
I don't even know what sense that makes. Hip roof.
Someone broke their hip making one.
Or fell off.
Fell off. There are all kinds of words and phrases that I discover that make no sense whatsoever, but that's one of them. So we add it to my list.
That's Canadian history.
Hip roof. Gambrel.
Shirley Christensen might have some stories.
No, we lived about 3 miles from him. I remember going down and sitting at the kitchen table and having cookies with them. Mom and Dad went fishing all the time, and on the way home they always stopped in and give Flora a fish, and she was so grateful. She was busy canning it for the winter. Yeah, they were a great couple. And the barn came from my grandfather, Jim Martin.
Is that, from
Yeah.
Jim? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it got moved in from someplace, but,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's still there, still
Yeah,
standing.
still there, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know anything else. I didn't know about the button dress. I didn't know. But I remember her collection of salt and pepper shakers. It was huge. Yeah.
See, she was a Landry, and there was Landrys down around Simpson. Remember Sam Landry, Dave?
Yeah.
That was her
Yeah.
brother,
Mhm.
and they were down around Simpson area.
Yeah.
Well, I used to see shorts in Simpson quite often. You know, I remembered what they looked like when they started talking. Never knew them, but I just knew who they were.
There's a picture I took from. Is that them? Yeah. I think I got that from
Yeah.
Laura's obituary.
How much does the dress weigh?
Good question.
Is it heavy?
Yeah,
It's heavy.
it's heavy, but not that heavy. You know, you could wear it. I think anybody here can probably still wear it.
She wore it, couldn't have been nothing.
No,
Well, the granddaughters used to play, like they play dress up with the button dress, so Lord. But it is like a little bit of weight to it.
Great-granddaughter.
her granddaughter, Carrie
Who?
Palmer,
I wonder what,
and I don't know which was her.
because I mentioned it to Alvin, because I wanted to get some background on it too, and he didn't know. I said, it must have come from somebody in the family. He said, well, it wasn't me. But-
No, and I don't know if we got who her mother or father was, or which one, would have been her grandparents, one of the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, yeah, like she had the older, like Willard, the oldest one, he married Ella. You know, so I don't, well, not, could have been anybody, I guess. They were the older ones, then they all went different directions.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, this was great stories.
I have another question. It says there, he drove a livery. Now, I presume that's a wagon pulled by a horse? Is it one horse?
Well, it is, but it was actually a closed-in cutter. And,
Closed-in cutter.
or a caboose or a
Caboose.
Well, it was a little enclosed
a little house on runners with a stove in it.
like
We saw it at the museum in Saskatoon.
Oh, okay.
See,
I didn't know those were called liveries, I thought they were cabooses.
well, yeah,
Oh, the cutters.
I better just say another couple of things. Winter was the big problem, you know.
Depends on the community.
That's what amuses me now. When it's really cold, they don't run the school buses.
Yeah.
Well, that's when you need the damn things. I mean, it wasn't like before cell phones and radios and everything. It's not as though they're going to get stuck with a busload of kids out in the middle of nowhere. But anyway, in the wintertime, and if you lived very far out in the country, if you weren't on a main road, and there weren't many in those days except the highways, people had snowplow clubs and kept some of the main arteries open. But where we were, kind of out in the wilderness, there, you were lucky to be able to drive a car on the road beyond Christmas, you know, if there was any amount of snow because the roads were usually lower than the fields were.
Yeah.
And so, I know my dad and his neighbor, they made a homemade snowplow and they made a road through the field every time you wanted to go to town, it seemed. But Mac anyway had a closed-in cutter with a stove, and that's the way we. Summertime was a little different. I rode my bike to school, you know, and but winter was the problem, and that's when.
Did you not have the train?
Hmm?
There was a train, wasn't there? Train tracks through town?
Oh, well, was there ever?
Yeah, well, could you not?
A
was it
lot
not
better
passenger
service than
train?
there is today, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
The CPR train ran from Regina to Clonsey, turned, and the mail came in at noon from Regina, and the train turned around at Clonsey, came back down, and at 3:30, or thereabouts.
Yeah.
And so if you had business in Renown, you could leave Regina in the morning and do your business in the afternoon, be back home in Regina that night. Get back at 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And when we went to the city, we went to Regina more often than Saskatoon, because in Saskatoon, if you went by train, you had to go to Clonsey, then transfer to the CPR main line. In Regina, you could just go right through.
I have another question about a livery. And I promise no more questions. How long would it take to, okay, I'm going to get the livery going, which means you got to get the horse, put the horse in the harness stuff, and attach it to the wagon. How long would that take?
Well, it depends how good you were at it. I never was much good at it, so it'd take me half a day, but some guys could do it in 10 minutes.
Depended on how tall you were too. In order to get the harness on the horse.
Yeah. Or how cooperative the horse was too. If he or she didn't want to get harnessed, you'd never get a bug.
I remember.
But that was the other thing when we had a livery barn in Reno, where the people could stable the horses. You see, you couldn't leave them standing outside all day.
Well, we owned it.
Yeah, Avery Reed, Dave's uncle. Yeah.
And a lot of the rural schools,
Nothing we could.
lot of private schools also had a small.
Oh yeah, sure. No, it wasn't just a matter, not like today, you jump in and turn the key and away you go. It was a lot of work. You had to feed them and clean up after them.
Is there a track line train?
Thanks.
Sharon's farm is right on the edge of Reno, old farm. Still standing?
Oh, there's a house there?
Yeah, right, yeah, but it's not,
But
it's
it's not in
like a
town.
farmyard. It's not.